seller rentbacks,
surprising market update,
Andrew Dice Clay's lucky house.
And that's what we're talking about today.
Let's get to it.
Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rob and Ange Real Estate Show. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
And I'm Rob Hau, the rock star realtor.
All right, welcome to episode 4. Can you believe episode 4?
Number 4.
Sometimes we forget to ask, what are your thoughts about our awesome show? I mean, is there anything we can improve on? Is there anything you would like us to talk about? You know,
is it not awesome?
Is it not awesome? Are you not liking our characters?
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you need to know about Vegas real estate or real estate in general? We want to hear from you.
Exactly. So of course we start out with the picture of the week. And this is a doozy. They're always doozies. We love to read your comments, and I know some of our viewers like that we go over and criticize other real estate agents' pictures. It's kind of fun.
We won't tell you who they are or what properties they are,
no.
But we'll show you the pictures that we no, we don't want to see out there.
No.
Even though we see them all the time.
Right. I just stumbled upon this one the other day when I was looking for homes for a client. So I thought, hey, this is a great picture of the week.
Yeah, it's a great picture of the week and a horrible picture. All right, so I want to know, does the seller know that their house is on the market? Because it looks like somebody just came by and said, I'm going to sell this house real quick, like, psst.
Kind of looks like the one that we did last week with the car photo. It looks like they're kind of still in their car.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Let me just take this shot, you know. I mean, wow. So obviously you don't see the house. I don't know. Was it actually supposed to be the neighbor's house? It could be. I mean, it could be. Are we selling?
Are the cars for sale?
Yeah, the cars for sale. We never want to see cars in our driveways. I mean, how hard is it to pull those out of the driveways and out of the driveway and, you know, park them somewhere else. But I mean, are we selling the gate in the front of the house? I don't know. I don't know what's happening here, but never, ever, ever should this happen. And the only times, again, I'm going to always go back to where I started in the short sale days. In the short sale days, you would sometimes, and you know, I didn't say this, but sometimes you would make that property photo, those photos, look horrible on purpose. Because you didn't want the bank thinking that they had something more valuable than it was, and the seller didn't care because they were making no money on it. So really the objective was not to get the full value out of the home, it was just to get the short sale done. And so you didn't necessarily need the home to look particularly great. That is the only exception that I would ever say you would have bad photos on, and even then I don't really see it these days why you would do it. So. Yeah.
And plus, this is a vertical photo as well, and most real estate pictures are taken horizontally.
Yes.
So that's another. You can tell they used their phone, obviously, because they just used their phone and went click.
Vertical phone photo, I mean, it's not even good for Instagram. Come on.
Right. That brings us to the tip of the week. And this is very common, and it's happening a lot these days, which is seller rentbacks.
Yes, seller rentbacks. So it's basically where the seller needs to rent back to the property for a period of time after closing. So this is something that's very popular when you have the seller buying another property and there's basically they're contingent on their purchase to sell their property first and then they're getting another property. But they need a little bit of time in between for whatever reason. There's actually a multitude of reasons this could happen. But usually it's a short period. You want to shorten it down to as little as possible if you're on the buyer's side, of course. But if it's a very common thing, and there is actually a document that you're going to use to make sure that that lease back is proper.
Well, what happens if, you know, because we have an issue right now with rentals.
The moratorium. Yeah.
What happens if the seller decides not to move out?
The thing is that does get into a trouble spot, and you do have to have a little bit of faith. Right now, you just have to have a little bit of faith. But here's the thing. These sellers are not interested in doing that. I mean, they want to sell their home and they want to move on. So as long as you see all the signs are in place, and this is where having a good experienced agent can help, on both sides of the deal.
Right.
You know, where, you know, because you're going to trust those agents and what they're feeling. But the reality is if somebody wanted to stay in any situation right now, it'd be very difficult to get them out. And it is something that you're going to be flapping in the wind on to some degree. I do believe that this would be one of those exceptions where they would take a look at this as far as if you had to bring it into an eviction. They do have that no cause exception that's in there that could come into play. You know, this does get into some legality, which, you know, as realtors, we can only go so far on speculating. We're not lawyers.
The point is that, and it's a good point, is that if the seller does want to rent back, then that rent is going to be held in escrow. So for example,
Yes.
if he does 2 months of rent, that's going to be held in escrow, and also a security deposit will be held in escrow. So there'll be another final walkthrough done after the seller moves
Yes.
out to ensure that the house is still in the same condition as it was when they bought it. And if that's okay, then the deposit will be released back to the seller. However, the rent is held in escrow and paid to the buyers.
Yes, and you made my wheels turn immediately on that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think if you're worried about that, what you need to do is get more into escrow. In other words, you're going to hold more deposit in escrow. That way, the seller knows they got some skin in the game, and they're not getting their money back if they try to you know, stick around.
That's a good point.
So
to hold your earnest money for like a security deposit.
Maybe the idea is that you don't hold just 1 month or so it's security deposit. You hold a much larger chunk of cash in there, as long as the seller can do that, and you let them know that this is why. In this time right now, you got to be a little bit more careful and have a little bit more ability to have some leverage.
Right.
And I think that most sellers would understand that, and they want to get the deal done. So usually you can work out these things. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
No problem. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So next is market update.
Yay!
We sold 704 homes between September the 13th through September 19th. That's huge increase compared to the week before that.
Yes, I love it.
242 more homes sold last week compared to the second week of September.
Yes, this tells me that we cannot necessarily take things down into smaller chunks. We got to look at things in larger chunks before we really know what our numbers are going to be.
Right. Because the first week of September was phenomenal. Second week took a dive. Third week is phenomenal. And I have a feeling that the fourth week of September is going to be just as well.
I do too.
Just because as many closings as I have at the end of this month.
Me too. And same thing for October. I'm thinking that we're going to keep seeing that nice uptick. I mean, people are trying to get into these properties that they can.
Exactly. So then we always like to go over the lowest and highest priced homes. Really, they're not shockers anymore because it's been consistently the same
It's
story.
very similar. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the lowest priced home, it was $130,000. That's what it sold for. $139,888 was the original list price. So it sold a little less. But one thing I want to point out is that I think this might have been a real good candidate for one of those iBuyers to come in and sneak up on them and give them an offer. It looks like they lost money, right? They didn't, you know, quite get all their money out of this property. But I would say if you sold to an iBuyer, you would have had at least $20,000 less in your pocket. That's my guess on that one. At very least, $20,000 less.
And this home was located in North Las Vegas and was only on the market for about 14, 15 days. So it was not on the market for very long. And again, of course, sold for cash.
I'm noticing that we do have shy investors right now, other than the iBuyers, because as those iBuyers know, if they can get things 20%, 30% off, you know, what the going rate is, they're happy to buy it at that. But the MLS investors are a little bit shyer right now. Yeah,
and it's going to be a vicious cycle, I think, with investors being shy, because then now there's not going to be rental properties to choose from. So it's just like a never-ending,
I think they're
a very bad cycle.
Well, those are going to come around. I think they are more concerned about their current investments, the ones that they are holding, that they're renting out. I think that investors are more concerned about those right now rather than going out and reinvesting money or investing new money into the market. I think there may be a delay on that. Could be election, you know, maybe they're waiting on. I don't know. Could be a number of things
involved. We never know.
Moratorium, election, those types of things. Pandemic. I mean, did I say that? I'm sorry.
So the highest price home sold for $4.7 million, and the asking price was $4.995. And of course, guess where it was at? Can you guess? Guess any further?
Old MacDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O. In the foothills of McDonald Ranch. And of course, this sold for cash. The beautiful home had 5 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 8,600 square feet on a half-acre lot. And this actually sold in only 47 days, so that's not bad.
Yeah, so that tells me they priced it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they priced it right. And McDonald Highlands, boy, beautiful area. Not surprised that it's kind of going off, and really some of it's still left to be built. And you know, getting a deal on a resale rather than having to build your custom home.
Right.
I think that's what a lot of these buyers are looking at right now.
Exactly. There were also 12 homes that sold over the $1 million mark, and which is slightly above last week's number of 10. We're selling cash. What more can you ask for, right?
Yeah. Another 12, I guess I could ask for, but I always want more.
Now, in the news.
In the news. In the news.
In the news.
In the news.
So guess whose house is listed for sale?
You tell me.
Mr. Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, you don't say so.
I do. He's selling his lucky house.
Ah, the lucky house.
For just $1 shy of $1 million.
Wow.
I mean, I kind of feel sad, actually.
Yeah. He hasn't been spending much time here in Vegas since COVID.
Since the C word happened?
So he decided to sell his Vegas home. He still has a home in LA and in New York.
Okay, so Andrew Dice Clay is obviously not going homeless, but where I'm a little sad is that just being an entertainer most of my life myself, I think it's a little sad to see, because I do think it represents the fact that Andrew Dice Clay is not working in Vegas and probably doesn't think there's a lot of work that's going to be around for a while. So he's liquidating his home here. I mean, we can speculate all different ways about it, but I do think it has a lot to do with the idea that these entertainers are not working. So that's kind of a sad one.
Yeah, his lucky house. It's in a historical neighborhood called the Nevada Rancho Estates.
Love that area.
And it's a 1-story ranch-style house, a little over 4,600 square feet. It has a pool, a spa. It's a beautiful home. I mean, just look at the pictures that we provided. It should sell fast, hopefully. It's a beautiful home.
Yeah. I think, you know, people always have intrigue when it's a famous person's home. And in that area, there are a lot of well-known names that have homes in that area.
It's old school Vegas, so it's built in the 60s, so it's very mid-century modern looking.
Yeah,
a nice neighborhood.
A lot of people love to redo those homes. I'm sure he did a lot of work to the home at some point. He's owned it since 2001, so that's probably
19 years.
Yeah, probably a good guesstimate on my part. Maybe it needs some new things, but beautiful homes in that area that can have large lots that can be a lot can be done with it, which I think brings us to
our next new segment that we will be airing next week.
Yeah, we're going to start a new segment because this brought up the idea that,
oh geez,
we should be featuring a listing.
It could be a crazy listing. It could be just something out of the ordinary or something that we just want to showcase. Something interesting that we want to bring to your attention. Exactly. So the Rob and Ange Real Estate Show brings you some real estate to check out. Some real estate.
Yeah.
But we're going to highlight one that really strikes a chord with us that we think you'll enjoy as well. So next, Rocco is back in the house this time. Oh, Rocco! We had some great feedback on Rocco, so we thought we'd bring him back. Stay tuned next week. We are going to have a new special guest. Her name is Salamanda. She is from Alabama, and that's all we're going to say. Right. All right. Well, you know what? I know you've been working with Rocco, and how is that going? It's going good. Yeah? Yeah. All right. Let's see what Rocco has to say. Can't wait. Welcome back to the show, Rocco. How are you doing today?
Hey, Ange, I'm doing great.
Good.
Other than my family thinks I'm Rocco Claus. Here comes Rocco Claus, here comes Rocco Claus, right down Rocco Claus way. My whole family thinks I'm the money bag. And they keep grabbing in there. You know the story.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little, I'm a little rough around the edges today because of that,
That's okay. I bet it could be a little disheartening to have family members always trying to grab at your money.
Yeah. They know I'm moving. They know I'm spending money. They want to get a piece of that before I go. But you know what? I got to tell you right now, I really appreciate you wearing the mask with me. My doctor says I got OCD, pH balance problems, and the stuff that's happening right now could really affect me.
I always want my clients to be safe.
Well, that's good. I feel safe with you, Ange.
Good.
But what I'm not really feeling safe about is what's going on out there in the market. I can't find a home, Ange. We've been looking, and it seems like there's just nothing for me.
Well, I understand your concerns, but buying a home is one of the biggest purchases that you can make, and it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, we could maybe adjust some searches, maybe increase the price a little, just a hair bit, maybe check a different location.
Well, I'm really fond of the locations you've been showing me. I like those areas. So, I'm just hoping and praying something shows up. I did talk to my lender, the lender that you hooked me up with. I think he's great. So it looks like the lender says I can go up a little bit in price. And I'm hoping I find some better properties.
Yeah, it should help out a little. I mean, there's no guarantee, but it may expand your horizons with a little more options.
All right, and I will take your advice. Even though I don't want to, I trust you. I think that we can open up the area a little bit and at least give us some more to look at.
Exactly. Right now we have very limited inventory.
Right.
And I always tell my clients that since this is the biggest purchase that you're going to be making, we have to be a little patient because we don't want to jump into buying a house
so hard
that you don't like or that you regret, and then that you have buyer's remorse.
Patience is so hard for me, but if there's one thing I've learned in my life, it's that the good stuff, you gotta take it easy. I really do want this to be right. So
exactly.
I hear where you're coming from, and I appreciate you calming me down a little bit. But you know what? I was listening earlier when you guys were talking about Andrew Dice Clay's place.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I would just die to have that home.
Yeah, it's a beautiful home.
I mean, I can't afford it, Ange, but that would be amazing to live in Dice's whole place.
Yeah, that would be the party house.
You think you could
the lucky house.
get him to meet me, huh?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Maybe I could work my magic and see if we can meet the clay man.
Yeah, if they don't need to see my financials, maybe we could go and swing by over there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. We'll go take a tour of Andrew Dice Clay's house.
Would that help you at the same time?
Yeah, maybe I could do a little video of it too.
Sounds fun, especially since we have limited properties to look at. Yep. And you know what? Jack and Jill went up the hill with each $1.25. And Jill came down with $2.50. Oh, that's right. I am sorry that he's going while I'm coming, but I gotta tell you, it seems like everybody else is coming.
Exactly.
Yeah, what the heck?
Exactly.
All right, Dice. You're always Dice is always throwing curveballs, isn't he?
Yep.
Well, he's throwing a curveball again.
That will be a fun tour. I'd love to take a tour and show you his house.
Let's do it! I can't wait.
We may not be able to meet him, but it would be fun taking a tour. As always, it's a pleasure having you here on the show.
Thanks,
and I will be calling you shortly, and we'll make arrangements to go tour Mr. Dice's.
I can't wait, and I really want to find my place too. Yay!
Well, it's always fun to have Rocco on the show. He's a character.
Yeah, what a character, yeah.
I can't wait to meet our next guest for next week, so that'll be exciting. Leave a comment down below, again, what you think about our show, what we can improve on.
Yeah.
All that jazz. We always love hearing your comments and what you think. And we're finally on our new channel.
Oh, yay! Yay, new channel!
Subscribe.
Tell your
if you
friends.
like this video. Tell your friends about the Rob and Ange Real Estate Show and that you're seeing it from the beginning before we become famous.
That's right. We're definitely going to rock out.
But do it peacefully.
Enjoy your day, everybody.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.